SO4 is battery acid.
Okay, so if we try to write this, now that you've been attempting it on your own, okay, check your work against this. You knew that aluminum was a +3 charge and sulfate was a -2 charge, so the formula for aluminum sulfate should be what, Cody?
Al2 parentheses SO4 parentheses 3.
Good. Aluminum sulfate, and this is usually found as a solid. Plus, you will get used to it. Anything that's a salt is either going to be solid or aqueous. I'll give you solubility rules later that will help you. And calcium hydroxide, which is calcium is a okay, and hydroxide. So that means our formula is OH2. Yes, because it is for O and H. Hydroxide is a polymer. Okay. And this is probably going to be aqueous because it's a strong base. We know that calcium hydroxide is a strong base because it has hydroxide with a metal.
That's what I don't understand is how you find solid liquid. Yeah.
That's what I said. I'm doing it for your benefit that you know to include those, but we'll discuss solubility rules later.
Okay.
So I'm not going to count off if there's an incorrect one.
Okay.
Yields, and I'm going to run out of room, but aluminum hydroxide, which aluminum again is +3, hydroxide is -1, so we're going to end up with AlOH3 plus calcium sulfate because we need to balance a 3 charge.
Ca parentheses SO4 parentheses 3.
What did you call it?
Would it be Ca, and then
Ca is a 2 plus, and sulfate is a 2 minus. So it would just be CaSO4.
Okay.
Hold on, we're not done. We're not done. That was just writing the formula. Now we need to know, are they balanced? And it would have been helpful if I had written this smaller so you could see everything at once. But how many aluminum are on this side?
Wait.
2.
Okay. How many sulfur? 3, because this 3 goes to here. Okay. How many oxygen? 12. Okay. We have 4 times 3, which is
12.
plus.
Oh, I did not see that.
So we have 14. Okay. How many calcium? How many calcium? 1. And how many hydrogen? 2. Okay. So let's look at the other side and see how we're ranking here. We have aluminum, sulfur, oxygen, calcium, and hydrogen. How many aluminum on this side? 1. How many sulfurs?
0. Oh, 1.
How many oxygens? 7. We have this and this. Calciums?
1.
And hydrogens? 3. 4. 4. Oh, sorry, 3. I was looking at the wrong place. Okay. So, we have a few things that are not balanced. We have aluminum, we have sulfur,
All of them are balanced.
oxygen, calcium's balanced, and hydrogen. So we need to put some coefficients in front of these to try to get this to balance out. If you're a fan of puzzles, this is a good way of looking at it.
1 aluminum equals 2 aluminum.
Which aluminum?
one on the other, one on the
Reactants or product side?
product.
Okay. So if we put a 2 here, that changes our values of aluminum goes to 2. Sulfur doesn't change. Oxygen goes to
Why doesn't sulfur change? What are we talking about? So.
goes up some more.
Yeah.
This is 3 times 2.
Six.
So we have 6 here, and we have 10 with this one.
So
Okay. How many calciums are on this side? Still 1. And hydrogens, did they change?
Yeah.
We have 3 times 2, so we have 6. But we can change the other side too. So now our hydrogens went up.
I'd be a pirate.
So you put
Okay, so 2 in front of which one? The reactant side on.
Hey.
He was playing it on me.
Look it up, whoever did it.
There you go. That's not funny. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Okay, so you said to put right here which value?
That wouldn't work though,
Would work what?
because then the calcium on the side would be unknown.
Okay, well can't we change that one too?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are kind of difficult. This is difficult when you have.
I told you this one is a little more challenging.
I do not.
Why don't I just do,
All of
let's
them.
see, what happens if we put a 3 right here? How does that change the values on this side, okay?
It gives it
So
3
our
calcium.
aluminum stays the same, sulfur's the same.
That was
Oxygen goes to what?
6.
Why does oxygen go to something?
20.
We have 14,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
so we
that's the
have
wrong one.
4 times 3 is 12,
18.
plus,
Wait, why does it go up?
You're gonna have
13 on
18.
top? Cody.
plus 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, our calcium would go to,
3.
and our hydrogen,
I have no idea. How does the hydrogen go up?
6.
Is it like distributed property?
Now our hydrogen's the same, so that works well.
that's why I wasn't the same again.
So,
So we'd add.
what else do we need to do? Aluminum's the same, so we're just missing sulfur and calcium and sulfur, calcium, and oxygen.
How did we go up to 18
Put a 2 in
oxygen?
front of the calcium on the product.
Okay, so if we
Wow,
put a
that's
2 here, what does that do to our values here? Aluminum's the same,
Never mind.
sulfur goes to,
2, 3.
oh,
No.
Oh yeah, 3. Maybe 3.
No, fuck that.
Right?
No.
You're gonna have
No, no, no.
No, 6 for that.
no, because we needed this, did you tell me to put 3 here? Because this needs to be a 3. Okay. Oxygen would go to, in this case we have
7.
3 times 2 is 6 plus 4 times 3 is 12. So we go to 18. And calcium goes to 3. So let's look, are we balanced? 2, 3, 18, 3, 6.
Yeah.
Done.
That's a lot of work for a lot
I
of
don't
math.
even know what we did or why we did it.
Okay, we're trying to get these values to be the same on both sides. And the only way we can do it is by putting numbers in front of these formulas.
Okay, so
It's like
I got to the part where I have the 2 plus, those 2 plus and the arrow, which I don't know why the arrow's there, and then another 2 formulas, and that's as far as I got, and then I lost you when you started making all those.
Okay. These are the reactants. So these are things that we are adding together in a reaction, okay? We are taking compound A and compound B and putting them together. This arrow that we say as yield means that this is what happens after we add them together. So this is the before side, the reactant side, and this is the after side. After we add them together, they change. They had a reaction, so they changed their form. They changed what compound it was, but it didn't change the number of atoms involved because we can't just lose or gain atoms out of nowhere. So what we have to do is make sure that the number of atoms of each element stays the same on both sides. So the only way we can do that is by balancing them by changing these coefficients. So what we're trying to do is get the same number of each element on either side of this reaction.
This is silly.
But, so, are you saying,
So we
we're
can
gonna
only
have really
change
hard ones
this
like this on the
number,
test?
this number, this number, and this number are
So
the
how
only things we
is-
can change.
changing those 4 numbers, changing those 8 numbers?
Because before, if we got rid of this 3, okay, we just had 1 calcium, 2 oxygen, and 2 hydrogen. But when we put a 3 in front of it, when we have 3 calcium hydroxides instead of 1, it's just changing the ratio of what we added so that we have the same number on each side. So that means that we now, this 3 acts like a math. It's sort of like having, if you had x plus 2, and then you put a 3 in front of it, this is like your coefficient that distributes to both of these things. So now you have 3x and, okay, so you have these two things. It's the same thing if you put a coefficient in front of calcium hydroxide. If we put a 2 here, this 2 is going to distribute to every one of these elements. So it changes the amount of each.
What does it do to the subscript?
The subscript doesn't change. However, if we looked at the before, so this is before you added the 2. Before, without this 2, we had 1 calcium. How many oxygens? 2, because this subscript is telling you how many. So we had 2 oxygens and we had 2 hydrogens. But we're going to multiply all these by 2 because of this subscript.
Oh.
So now we have 2 calciums, we have 4 oxygens, and we have 4 hydrogens. You see how that works?
So what you're trying to do is a bunch of trial and error to get
It
them equal?
exactly.
That's a lot of trial and error.
Okay. Well, but as you continue, you'll start to see some trends.
That's what this
Alright, so let's do number 1 together.
If last year's class can do it, you can do it, right? Okay, so try another one.
Number 1, let's do number 1. N2 plus H2 yields NH3.
Yeah, I want to know if he's got 1 right on my assignment. We should do number 1. No, number 1.
I will try to do it on
Okay,
the
let's do
board.
number 17. Yeah. Or number 10. All these papers come tonight, and I'm doing my worksheet. Taking notes home with me. That's if I remember. Actually, if I don't go to work, I'm going to do it. Should we take notes today?
Okay, well, why don't you try these problems, and I can help you if you have questions.
I want to try that problem, but I gotta know the